Are you tired of pulling your pants down and seeing that wobble? Is it time to change? Why is belly fat so stubborn? In this podcast, we're going to discuss exactly that. And I've got 4 things you can do to get rid of that stubborn belly fat. I'm Tom Waller, health enthusiast, chiropractor and speaker. And for the past decade, I've been devoted to the pursuit of excellent natural health, helping thousands of people achieve a better quality of life. I take complex topics and make them simple and easy to digest and implement to change your life. Why? Because you deserve to know the truth about health and you deserve to live a better quality life. But be warned, I'm not holding back any punches and I will hold you accountable. Belly fat is something that plagues men, but we are all too proud to talk about it. And believe you me, I struggle and I often wear a black t-shirt to cover it up. So today I'm going to take the top off that issue and help you become that sexy man you've always dreamed of being. As men, we all want to look like Arnold and Brad Pitt, but getting that belly fat to turn into a six-pack is a struggle. And let's be honest, a six-pack of beer is the easier option. And trust me, I'm coming at you from someone who does struggle with this and just wanted to know how to do it better. So really, what is belly fat and why does it affect men so much? Belly fat, or fat in general, isn't all one kind of thing. There's different types of fat in our body. And there's this particular type of fat called brown adipose tissue. Adipose meaning fat. It's a brown fat tissue. It's brown because it looks brown. And it tends to distribute differently in men and women. So for men, it tends to sit on our midriff, around the abdomen, just overlapping that six-pack that I know you've got going on, but it's just underneath that little bit of a layer. So this brown fatty tissue has a very special function in the body. Fat is energy for the body. Fat is energy. So if we want to exert or run or do something, we use fat to give our body that energy so that we can do that. Now, brown fat is a special kind of fat. And get this, it actually burns the other fat. So brown fat uses the other fat to make energy. It is also our thermal storage. It keeps us warm. So from an evolutionary point of view, brown fat is essential for a human being because it helps us make energy and it helps keep us warm when the winter's coming. So there are some hacks you can do to get around that. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But the reason it's so difficult to get rid of is because your body will burn and use up all the other fat, the stuff that sits on wobbles on your arms or sits around your cheeks and under your chin. But the brown fat that sits around your waist will be the last thing to go. Now this is why tricks and fads really don't work when it comes to burning belly fat. Because your body doesn't want to get rid of it. Remember, it's there to make energy. And one of the most interesting thing of these fads, I remember being back at school and one of the guys came in with a, you know those those vibration things people used to stick on their tummy to try and tense away all that fat. It just simply didn't work. Lovely guy, he did need it, but I hope he's managed to change over the years. So we've got that, and then the other one that comes in is fasting, and I want to show you why fasting really doesn't work if you want to get rid of your belly fat. So intermittent fasting is really good for your health. Start off there. Intermittent fasting is really good for your health because what it does is it helps reduce inflammation in the body. So I'm not going to say that it's not good for you, but it's not going to help you with your belly fat. Why? If you starve yourself and you fast for a period of time, your body, your innate body starts to go, hang on, are we going to lose food here? Is winter coming? Are we going to run out of food? So what it does is it says, I need to start storing food for the winter. So because you've starved your body, it doesn't burn all the fat. It may do for a short period of time, but eventually it will go, I now need to store fat for the winter because I don't know when my next meal is coming. So what your body then does is start to build up more of this brown adipose tissue. So intermittent fasting doesn't help reduce belly fat. In fact, it can actually cause the opposite to happen and you can increase your belly fat. So if you're trying to reduce belly fat, fasting isn't the way, nor is the six-pack. So don't go back to that one. Sit-ups don't work. They might help tone the abs underneath the surface, but they're not going to burn away that fat. But as I said, the good news is you can do something about it. But before I go into that, I just want to ask this simple question. Should we really be trying to get a six-pack? I know, men, you're listening to this and you really think, I want that six-pack. It looks good and all the Instagram models have it nowadays. But should we really be aiming to get rid of that six-pack? You see, from an evolutionary standpoint, as I've said, that brown belly fat, that brown adipose tissue, is there to help you. It's there for survival. It helps you burn energy. So if you think that if you start to starve yourself in the ways that I'm going to talk about in a minute, if you start to really try and lose that belly fat, are you actually getting healthier? Now, I'm not for 1 minute suggesting we should just say, that's okay, fine, let's just be fat, that's cool. No, I'm talking about that little bit of belly fat there. The simple way I say you should do this is, do you feel confident to walk to the local shops with your top off? Now, the reason I say this, I wasn't going to give this example, but my wife said I should. I remember a while ago, I walked to the shop and I came back, and you know when the wind is blowing against you, and you're walking down the street, and there's a traffic jam. So you're now walking down the street, and there's this line of cars up the side, and the wind is blowing in my direction, and you know when you can just feel your t-shirt just grab against that little bit of fat on the outside? That was happening. And I was thinking to myself, oh my God, breathe in harder, Tom. And it was embarrassing. And I thought to myself, I don't like this. Now, if that is going on, I would suggest that is not brown adipose tissue, normal, acceptable belly fat. That's more. And that's what we need to be learning to change. But if we think that brown fat is good for us, if we think that brown fat helps keep us warm, it helps us make energy, helps us survive, it helps us thrive, I personally don't feel you should be striving for that six-pack. But I do believe you should be doing what you can to reduce the other fat that's going on in the body. And let me talk about how. And I've come up with 4 steps to help you get rid of that belly fat for good, if you choose to. So, my 4 things to help you get rid of belly fat are fasted slow state cardio, lifting heavy weights, getting to 10% body fat first, and your diet. So the first thing of my 4 things you can do to reduce your belly fat is fasted low state cardio. Training fasted is only reserved for slow state cardio. What do I mean by this? A brisk walk or a brisk cycle. Fasted means you have to have not had food for a long period of time. You feel empty. You feel like you could eat again. It's not just a couple of hours. It's maybe finishing food at 6 p.m. one evening and training again at 6 a.m. the next evening. Sort of a good 12 hours. But you must do slow, steady state cardio at this time to really have the beneficial effect. So if you're going to train fasted, my number 1 tip for helping you to reduce belly fat is to do low, steady state cardio when you're fasted. My second tip of the 4 things you can do to help reduce belly fat is lifting heavy weights. Go hard or go home, big compound exercises and weight training really helps to really change your body and shock it into losing that fat. And the interesting thing is that your basal metabolic rate, how you burn fat, just existing, like how I'm burning fat right now and talking to you on this camera, that increase in the basal metabolic rate lasts for days after you train heavy weights. So your body increases its metabolism, not just after you've trained, but for days. So you get that long-term burning of fat. So heavy weights, really great for the man, really important. Lots of longevity studies link into heavy weights exist and live longer, but really will help you reduce that belly fat. And then my third tip for helping you reduce your belly fat is get to 10% body fat first. Remember, belly fat, brown adipose tissue is the last thing that's going to go. Your body's going to get rid of the normal fat first, and then it's going to go on to the belly fat. Remember I said I don't think you should really do that, but if you really want to get that 6-pack popping, then you need to think long term. you need to train hard for a long period of time to get rid of the fat, and then continue beyond 10% body fat to get rid of that belly fat. And then my fourth thing, or the four things you can do to help reduce belly fat, is, of course, diet. Diet has a huge impact on our fat. And linking in here to the seasons thing, when we said intermittent fasting would reduce your body's ability to store fat, if we think about diet, the big culprit here for belly fat is sugar. Fructose, sugar in fruit, or high fructose corn syrup, the stuff you'll find in Coca-Colas and in many food products. Fructose, a really interesting thing that happens. Berries develop, when do they come up? Berries come out at the late summer. After late summer, we move into autumn, the fall, and then we move into winter. Evolutionary-wise, our body has designed itself that when it starts to get that fructose from the really sweet sugars, we take on the fructose, our body then changes its metabolism and says, right, winter's coming, time to store more fat. So if you really want to reduce your belly fat, you have to reduce not just your sugars, but your fructose. Cut out all of those fizzy drinks, anything with high fructose corn syrup in. Sweet fruits have to go. So the longer the fruit's ripened for, the more fructose it has in it, and actually the less beneficial vitamins it has in it. So really, if you're going to have fruit, it has to be quite unripened fruit. But really, if you want to change your diet to reduce belly fat, the main thing you must cut out is fructose and high fructose corn syrup. So it's time to quit making those excuses. If you really want to pull down your pants with pride, then the four things you need to do to reduce belly fat are fasted low state cardio, heavy weight training, get down to 10% body fat first, and work on your diet in reducing fructose. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast. I hope this helps. And if there's anybody you know who's got a little bit of wobble around the middle who could benefit from this, send it to them. Please like, subscribe, and share this with anyone that you know will benefit. And as you may have heard me mention earlier, I'm recording these now on a camera as well as a microphone. So make sure you head on over to the Tom Waller YouTube channel, where you can find out more information and more great things to help you impact your health.